Okay. Is there any changes that I need to know about, Stuart?
No changes. You can see all the list of cases to be tabled or continued. You take care of those first, I guess.
Okay. Well, I'd like to welcome everyone to the May 12th, 2020 meeting of the Independence Planning Commission. To start our meeting tonight, I believe the city staff wants to do the roll call. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. Or please take the call.
Commissioner Dreer. Absent. Commissioner Ferguson.
Here.
Commissioner Preston.
Here.
Commissioner Weir.
Here.
Commissioner Wiley.
Here.
Commissioner McLean.
Here.
And Chairman Ashbaum.
I'm here. So the first item of business we need to take care of would be the case, the first three cases on our agenda tonight. They're requesting that they be continued. Well,
no.
Not all of them, right?
Yeah,
One is
Mr. Chairman, yes. Cases 2, 3, and 6 need to be tabled, and 4 is to be continued to the next meeting, which is the June 9th meeting. So you could make two motions, one to continue or table cases 2, 3, and 6, and then the second motion vote would be continue case 4.
Which means we're hearing cases 1 and 5 on the agenda?
No, case 1 has been withdrawn by the applicant.
Okay.
But we are doing case 5.
Case 5, okay. All right, so I need a motion to continue cases on our agenda 2, number 3, and number 6. What's the date?
Well, these will be tabled, so they'll be off the agenda until action is brought forth that we put them back on the agenda.
Okay, tabled indefinitely. Do I have a motion for that?
Can we do those collectively, or do we need to do them individually?
Yeah. Yes, you can.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
In the matter of, as per our agenda, case number 2, case number 3, and case number 6, move that those be tabled indefinitely.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I second.
I don't know. Who wants to have it? Because I can't.
It doesn't matter.
Virginia.
Yes.
All right, you got it, girl. Okay. Unless there's any discussion on this or objections or any other further questions, let's speak now or forever hold your peace. Okay. Well, I believe we're ready to take the vote on this tabling.
Okay, Commissioner Ferguson?
Yes.
Commissioner Preston?
Yes.
Good gosh.
Commissioner Weir?
Yes.
Commissioner Wiley?
Yes.
Commissioner McLean?
Yes.
And Chairman Ashbaum.
Yes. So cases number 20-100-01, 20-200. Two 20-100-01, 20-200-01, and 203-1001 have been tabled. The next indefinitely, apparently.
Mr. Chair, can I make a suggestion real quick?
Yes, you may.
Stuart, can you might want to mute everybody before we continue, and then we can all unmute ourselves as we discuss, just to keep the noise down.
Okay.
Okay. And just to make a matter of, just make sure it's on the record, I'm just going to make mention that case 19-400-05 short-term rental at 635 North Delaware Street has been withdrawn. The next item on our case is I need a motion to continue item number 4 on our agenda, or case 20-100-05 rezoning at 2411 South Artie Mize Road. Do I have a motion to do that?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
in the matter of case number 20-100-05 rezoning at 2411 South RD Myers Road, be continued to June 9, 2020 meeting.
Thank you, sir. Do I have a second? Now I can't get a second.
Second.
Commissioner McLean seconds. Okay, unless there's any discussion, we're ready to take the vote on agenda item number 4.
Okay. Commissioner Ferguson,
Yes.
Commissioner Preston,
Yes.
Commissioner Weir,
Yes.
Commissioner Wiley,
Yes.
Commissioner McLean,
Yes.
and Chairman Ashbaugh.
Yes. Case number 20-100-05 rezoning of 2411 South Artie Mize Road has been continued to the June 9th, 2020 meeting. Our next case is number 5 on our agenda, case 20-400-04 short-term rental at 1104 North Cottage Avenue. Just so I know, the applicant is here in attendance, right?
That is correct.
Okay. All right. Let's have the city give their report on this case, please.
Okay, Melanie Howard seeks to operate a short-term rental at 114 North Cottage Avenue. The oval shows the approximate location of the site, which is on the west side of North Cottage, north of East 24 Highway, and west of the Truman Library. Gives you a perspective. This is the zoning for the area. Although most of this area is actually zoned residential and in residential use, there's a mixed bag of zoning classifications here. The apartments to the east, across on the east side of North Cottage, are actually zoned C2, general commercial, is shown in the red here. The duplexes south of the applicant sites are zoned multifamily, the R30, which is shown here, while the applicant site and properties to the north of the applicant's property are zoned R6, single family. The zoning goes back some time. This aerial photograph shows the site in the oval on the west side of North Cottage. 24 Highway is just to the south. And further to the east, there's the apartments again to the east across the street from the applicant's property. And further to the east are the grounds for the Truman Library. 24 Highway Bridge is under construction at this time, if you've been out that way. This is a closer aerial view of the applicant's property. That's the house or duplex right there. Okay, here we're looking west, standing on North Cottage, looking west into at the front of the applicant's property. This short-term rental is the duplex unit on the left, where the sign is in front of there. And the unit on the right is a long-term rental. The short-term rental unit contains about 740 square feet with 2 bedrooms with a maximum occupancy of 4. There's 2 off-street parking spaces available in the paved driveway where the truck is parked. The applicant's mother, who lives in the area, will be handling the day-to-day responsibilities of managing the property. Here, this is the duplex that's north of the applicant's site. And here we're looking, excuse me, we're looking north up looking north up Cottage at the duplexes on the east side of the street. And this is on the east side of College, looking at some of the apartment buildings across from the site. And this is more apartment buildings across from the site. Okay, here we're looking to the southwest, down Cottage, at some newer duplexes. Hang on just a minute. East 24 Highway is just to the south here, just past the little building here. Cottage Avenue is currently closed at its intersection with 24 Highway. Okay, and immediately south of the applicant's property is another duplex, basically identical to the applicant's property. Staff recommends approval of this application with the following conditions. The short-term rental shall obtain a business license in accordance with city code and comply with the Article 3, Chapter 5 of the city code. The occupational license number shall be listed on all advertisements and online platforms. Business must comply with the standards established by Section 14.420 of the city code. You can answer any questions you may have.
Does anyone have
Go back.
questions? Okay. Would the applicant like to add anything, like to speak?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I already have an idea because I've been running short-term rental out of my own private house for 4.5 years. So I already know how I
Ms.
would
Howard,
like
can
to
you-
run this establishment. Yes.
Can you identify yourself, please, and give your
Yes.
address?
Oh,
Yes, my name is Melanie Howard. And you
could you-
want
yes, just state your address for the record, please. I apologize.
my address of where I live or the unit that I would like to?
Oh, the address where you reside.
Okay. That is 6306 Whitsett Avenue, North Hollywood, California, 91606.
Okay. Thank you for doing that. I'm sorry. Sorry that you got interrupted. Go ahead, please.
Okay, yes. So I already have been doing short-term rental out of my own private house. So I already have an idea of how I want to get this one established, running up and off the ground. So basically, I joined this meeting in case anybody else had any concerns or questions that they want answered from me.
Okay. Well, we appreciate that. My only question right now to you would be that you are aware of the recommendations of the city and that you're okay and you accept those recommendations.
I have been emailed formats that I needed to prep in order to submit. If there's anything separate from that email, I am not aware of it.
Well, it probably is what you were sent, but basically it just says that you are going to comply with the city code
Mm-hmm.
and that you have to obtain a business license in order to do this from the city.
Oh, yes, that's fine.
Okay, well, that's all that is listed. So we just want to make sure that that's part of the record that you agree to those city recommendations.
Yes,
Okay.
agree.
All right. Does anyone, any of the commissioners have questions of Ms. Howard?
I just have one. Did you say that your mom is going to be the one who manages the property and she is on site, or at least in Independence?
She is actually in Excelsior Springs. Depending on if I get approved or not, depends on how I will start the procedures of the renting out. And I will train her on how to negotiate the communications, and then she will take over hopefully within a month. It's a really easy procedure to handle.
Okay. Ms. Howard, I don't know if you're aware of the makeup of the neighborhood as far as if they're all rental units around there, or if the city staff can fill me in on if those are they look like rental units. They don't look like private homes, correct?
Right. When I was in the neighborhood, that street is predominantly duplexes.
Right. Okay. One of the concerns the commission is in some of the neighbors in this different places that we've been doing these short-term rentals have voiced concerns about, what happens and what are your plans if you have somebody that's renting there and they get loud and rowdy and, most of the folks that we've talked to have either live very close to the short-term rental address or know people around there who will call the owner. So do you have any type of situation like that available, or are you just counting on the police to show up if needed?
Oh, no, I've already spoken with my long-term tenant who is immediately next door. So she will be supervising the noise level.
Okay. All right. Well, that sounds fine. For myself, if anybody else has any questions of Miss Howard, please say so.
Does city staff have contact information on the mom who is the property manager and on the long-term tenant adjacent to the subject site?
No, we don't have that information at this time.
That information is not captured in the application process?
No, it's not. The management company is, but they are not going to be involved in the day-to-day activities. They are just for more of a capital improvements, maintenance type of arrangement, is my understanding. That would be something I believe that she would add to the business license application when she fills that out for the rental unit.
The contact information on the mother and the property manager next door will be a part of the licensing?
At least the mother. I'm not sure about the person next door. They're not really involved in the business other than they just happen to live next door to this unit.
Given the fact that the owner is in California, the property manager is in Excelsior Springs, then for local purposes, who then, if not the person next door? It appears that there's a shared responsibility here. Although we're saying the mother is the property manager, it appears that the real property manager is going to be the tenant next door.
Well, we can request that the applicant provide us with the names and phone numbers and addresses of both parties. That way, if we need to get hold of them.
Are you amenable to that situation, Miss Howard, to provide both your mother's name and the long-term rental name so as contacts?
Yes, I can do that.
Okay. So she's waiting on approval of this before she gets a business license, correct, Stuart?
That's correct.
Okay. All right. So when you just make sure you do that, please, Miss Howard, if you're approved here, that you actually put that down. Okay.
Question to staff.
Absolutely. Yes.
The business license is issued for a period of 1 year. Is that correct?
Yes, they renew the business license every year.
And therefore, the property owner understands that the reasonable operation of this is, well, the continuation of that license until the second year is contingent upon the reasonable operations of this site, recognizing an absent owner and an absent property manager. Do you understand that, ma'am?
Ms. Howard, do you understand that?
No, can you please clarify that for me?
Well,
Business licenses are issued for 1 year.
Okay,
The
yes.
issuance of the renewal is contingent upon the reasonable operations in the previous year. And
Okay.
therefore, given that you're an absent owner and your mother is in Excelsior Springs, and we're having to rely upon a tenant next door as the de facto day-to-day manager, you understand that operations into the second year is contingent upon the reasonable operations in the first year.
Yes.
okay. Thank you. Any other questions, comments?
I have one more question. What platform are you planning on using? Are you using Airbnb, VRBO? What are
Airbnb.
you- Okay.
Okay.
Stuart, how much are those business licenses? Are they all the same?
Well, there's a flat fee and then there is I don't know the amount, it's 75 cents per thousand.
I forget the per thousand. But
Yeah, it's basically based on revenues. So Walmart has quite a bill, and a small convenience store or something like that would have a small bill.
But what is the basis? How much did you say?
I think
The initial cost.
the minimum annual is $75, and then there's a 50 cents or 75 cents per thousand after that.
I see.
Of revenue.
Is that the case on all business licenses now? They're $75?
This
Thank you.
used to be 50 and it went up.
Like yes. Okay, any other person, commissioner? I'm sorry, any other commissioner want to have questions of the applicant before we continue? Okay. Well, thank you, Ms. Howard. We might have questions later on, but we appreciate that.
Okay.
Not that I see anybody that would be here, but is there anyone else here that'd like to speak in favor of this case? Is there anyone here who's opposed or who has questions? Okay. Public hearing portion of this case is closed. Commissioners are free to offer motions, provide comment, ask further questions. Or look at me blankly.
Mr. Chair, I have reservations. However, given the applicant has experience in what we would consider B&B, though she is an absent owner and the mother's out of town, she understands that going forward, she's making an investment. I trust that she'll exercise good judgment, and therefore I will move for that case number 20400-04 short-term rental at 1104 North Cottage Avenue be approved.
Okay, I have a motion. Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, Commissioner Wiley seconds.
I assume that was with conditions.
Absolutely.
Good assumption. Yes.
Okay, Commissioner Ferguson,
Yes.
Commissioner Preston,
Yes.
Commissioner Weir,
Yes.
Commissioner Wiley,
Yes.
Commissioner McLean,
Yes.
Chairman Ashbaugh.
Yes. Case number 20-400-04 short-term rental at 1104 North Cottage Avenue has been approved. Good luck to you, Ms. Howard.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so that's all we got, right? Except for approval of minutes, etc. Correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Does anyone have any changes, alterations to the minutes?
Nope.
Hearing none, then they stand approved as written. I do want to ask you something, Jordan, given that this is probably one of our first out of state or out of the city people. And because of that, I'm not real concerned about her. I'm just concerned about folks as we go along in this process. And when a business license is reviewed, if there's been any issue down the road, do the people that review that, do they know that there has been issues? Is there something that gets flagged? I mean, or are they just, they're just processing it? I mean,
Yeah, so you are actually speaking with the manager of the business license function currently, myself. So it's going to be a pretty easy transition. But yeah, what our plans are going forward, obviously, we all know this is a relatively new process for us, but we're going to plan to record any complaints or noise complaints, repeated property maintenance violations, those kind of things. We have an online system that we review business licenses in. So we will be kind of recording those as we go along. And, should, as we would with any business, if there are multiple issues with the management of the company, when it comes around for renewal, we will pursue, an administrative hearing with the owner to kind of discuss how they plan to correct any of those issues if that rises to the level of potentially revoking that business license. So, it is a relatively new process, but we're kind of building those safeguards in, and we will be, as you guys kind of talked about with this case tonight, making sure that we have adequate contact information associated with the business license. So if there's an issue, if the police call and say, hey, we need someone there now, that we have, multiple contacts, but in this case, whether it's a next door tenant or a property manager that you said was in Excelsior Springs, not necessarily in town or super close, that we do have avenues to get a hold of someone close to take action if there's an emergency.
okay. Well, and that answered my question. I realize that could also happen with the local owner, but a local owner is probably more sensitive to their community than someone who's not around all the time. So that's reassuring, and I appreciate you giving us that information.
Absolutely.
Does any of the commissioners have anything they want to share with staff or questions of staff? I have one. When's our next meeting? And what are we
the next meeting, June 9th. And at this point, we are planning at least through June to have virtual meetings, just with our lead time as far as, publishing and notification and that kind of stuff. We will probably at least plan to have virtual meetings through June. There's some preliminary plans as far as reopening the city and when in-person meetings might happen. Don't look for any of those to happen until at least July at the earliest. And even then, it'll probably depend on, have we had adequate notice in order to properly notify the public of an in-person meeting versus a virtual meeting. So, kind of
Okay.
be aware of that.
Okay. All right. Do you have anything to share with us?
I do tonight. You may notice we have another guest from the city. We have Rick Arroyo here. If you've been paying attention with the city recently, had a little bit of a reorganization. Rick had been an assistant director of public works. He'll be coming down as an assistant director of community development, and I will be transitioning out of working with you guys, and Rick will be transitioning in over the next couple months. So give Rick a nice warm welcome, and maybe Rick will say hi, say a few words. So.
Well, thank you, everybody. I know it was a short meeting, but I just wanted to jump on here, get a chance to meet everybody. And I know in the day of virtual meetings, it's kind of hard to do, but I do appreciate the opportunity and look forward to meeting and working with all of you. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Rick,
Thank
I
you.
hope you're not intimidated by the huge shoes that you're going to be filling.
Welcome.
I hear stories, but hopefully I'll be able to fill some of those at least.
So Jordan, where are you moving to?
So I'm staying in community development. So some of you know, maybe you don't know. When I started with the city 6 years ago, I was working in economic development. And so with this transition, Rick will be taking over development services, and I'll be kind of transitioning back to economic development, maintaining business licensing and that kind of stuff. So there's all a number of things that I'll be kind of filling the gaps, I guess, where needed as well. So I'll still be here, and I hopefully I'll get to see you guys after we transition out. But yeah, so like I said, we don't really have a timeline, but Rick will probably be sitting in at least for the next couple meetings, and at some point he will be taking the lead. So
Just for the record, it's been a total joy, Rick, working with Jordan. And again, I hope you can fill those huge shoes.
I will certainly attempt to.
No pressure. Geez.
Yeah, exactly.
No intended pressure.
hey, if we can make it another month, at least have been doing this for a year. So,
There you
that's
go.
awesome. Otherwise, yeah, no, it's been good. And obviously we will, I'll see you guys a couple more times before we have to say any official goodbyes, and maybe we'll have a meeting in person by then. So you never know.
Yeah. One of the things, Jordan, that we had talked about that is kind of high on my priorities is the economic impact of short-term rentals on the availability of long-term rentals for local residents. And one of the things that you were doing was tracking just how much of this is becoming investment property as opposed to what Airbnb was originally intended, where people took a portion of their home and made use of it. But I'm real interested in what is going to be the long-term impact of the model as we're exercising it presently.
Yeah,
and I hope Rick will continue in those statistics, because I think they're vital as to how we go about making regulations and changing the ordinances.
Certainly, there's obviously a lot of different metrics that we are looking forward to trying to track in the future, and that is certainly one of those.
Or I'm sorry, Rick, I didn't catch what your current position is with the city.
Well, currently right now I'm the Assistant Community Development Director. The past I was the Assistant Public Works Director. So I have had 3 years experience as a Community Development Director with the city of Green Valley. Prior to that, I was their city engineer for 10 years. I was a stormwater engineer and design engineer at the city of Blue Springs for about 7.5 years prior to that. I was in private engineering, actually doing subdivision planning. So, little brief history on my background.
Well, thanks for sharing that. I hope you feel like you're moving your way up by coming to independence.
I certainly do.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. So, anything else from anybody? Nope.
Nothing from staff.
Okay. All right. Well, unless there's an objection, we'll adjourn this meeting at 6:36 p.m. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.